Business is reopening and more of us returning to public life. Tonight, the CDC continues to recommend that you wear a mask when out in public and that you keep 6 feet of social distance. But a woman says she got none of that when an officer came to help. News 4's Alexis Zotos is live tonight, watching out for you in Webster Groves.
Steve, during a traffic stop, safety is top of mind, especially during that interaction between an officer and a driver. And for a lot of people right now, safety is coming in the forms of a face mask. And one Webster Groves woman told us she didn't feel safe when an officer wasn't wearing a mask and he wasn't 6 feet away. Police officers use a lot of tools to protect themselves and the community. And at crime scenes, a face mask is now often another part of their uniform. But what about during a traffic stop?
I asked them what the policy was, and they said there is no law requiring them to wear a mask.
Eve Samuel's truck broke down on East Glendale yesterday, right by the Webster Groves Recplex.
I had just called the Webster Groves non-emergency police number to let them know that I was sitting there waiting for a tow when this officer on a motorcycle came up, and he wasn't wearing a mask.
Samuel says she's high risk for COVID-19.
He then insisted that I show him my driver's license, and I put it up against the windshield on the glass on the window, and he demanded that I lower my window and hand him my license, and he had no mask.
Webster Groves has not yet responded to multiple calls today, but we checked with several other departments in the area. In St. Louis County, officers are not required to wear masks, but it is recommended. Ultimately, it's up to their discretion. A spokesperson telling News 4 when responding to an emergency, it's not always feasible. In St. Louis City, a similar policy. It's not required, but officers are encouraged to wear a face covering if social distancing is not possible. Across the country, many police departments are requiring officers to wear masks. Chicago is one of those cities. As long as they're in public, it's policy that officers have their mouth and nose covered. Eve Samuel says she'd at least like to see it here on request.
On request, I think that that's not too much to ask. I think it's probably something that's brand new issue that nobody's had the opportunity to really figure out yet. However, that was awfully discouraging. It's time to get really clear what the public can expect from the people who are sworn to protect us.
I spoke with a representative of the St. Louis County Police Union tonight. He says their biggest concern is ensuring that officers have the proper PPE when they need it. He said something to keep in mind. One of the reasons that an officer might not wear one during a traffic stop is to ensure that the driver and the officer can have that easy communication, which sometimes can be difficult with a mask. Reporting live, Alexis Zotos, News 4.